Next up, our speakers want to share with you on why you should do a postgraduate and their personal experiences. We have Dr. Richard from our senior lecturer from MDIS Business School, Dr. Lisa, head of School of Life Sciences, Dr. Darwin, a senior lecturer from MDIS Business School, who will share in this session. Let's welcome them.
Hello everybody, good morning. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on our MDIS Postgraduate Fair. So at MDIS, we have a lot of different courses from different levels. Doing MDIS College, you can look at MDIS O levels, A-level preparation. For degree classes, we have many different degree programs from different faculties. But today, we are sharing with you about postgraduate studies available at the MDIS campus here. So today we have different colleagues to share about the different faculties, courses, and also talk about our different journey into postgraduate education. Over here we have Dr. Darwin, who will share with us his journey and what he teaches and how it has affected him when he started on his postgraduate studies, how it has changed his career path as well. Okay, and with Dr. Richard, he will share with you his very interesting arts-based, performance-based kind of postgraduate studies, and I will share with you science-based because I'm a life science PhD, and it's a different approach, I suppose, and different topics and different programs, and how we have achieved different levels of experience, different levels of education, and how it has forwarded our career and affected and enriched our lives. Okay, so let's start with Dr. Darwin.
Very good morning. I'm happy to share my learning experience. From my bachelor's degree until my postgraduate programs. So basically, I hold two postgraduate programs, MBA as well as Masters in Philosophy. And then I did my doctorate in management. Interestingly, my basic degree is BSc Botany.
Oh, something like mine.
Yeah, I have been doing a science-based degree program, and I still remember we used to do a lot of dissections in
Dissections.
the
Okay. On animals, small animals.
Yes, small animals,
insects?
rats, insects, including leech. We used to
leeches.
operate
Wow.
and see how it stores the blood in different segments.
Ooh.
Right. So it was a turning point for me to give up my MSc botany program to join MBA, because those times MBA considers something great.
Wow.
So
This must be the 80s.
Yes, 80s. So I was doing my MBA in 1989, and I have completed in 1991.
Oh, that's very
So during
fast.
those times, it's a good journey, a great journey, I would say. But lot of ups and downs, of course.
Life's like that, lots
Yeah.
of ups and downs, even learning journey, even education journey,
Yeah.
lots of ups and downs, but we learn from it. There are different ways to tackle things in life. The more you're exposed to different obstacles, then you learn along the way, not just book studying, but different sort of ups and downs that gives you, enrich you, gives you the experience in life to how to cope and how to overcome different aspects, different obstacles, and you learn from it.
Yeah. So the journey was challenging, but it was rewarding. Of course, self-fulfillment. So I could say that I can proudly tell my children, see, I have so many degrees, and there's a shift from one discipline to another discipline is not that easy.
Yeah, that must have been a tough decision.
from a
MSc to an MBA.
MBA. So
Yeah.
it's totally different. It is like more of commerce-oriented modules. So it is something new to me. Of course, I gone through so much of troubles in the beginning, but I would say that the perseverance and the reward I am going to get after I became a postgraduate, that actually boosted me to really work hard and complete my MBA successfully, and that helped me to get a job as a manager.
I see.
It's a managerial position, looking after one whole state in marketing, and I used to conduct training for the sales representatives. and that made me to become a teacher in the future.
I see.
So my
because you were
training
training
experience.
them so much that you could
Yes.
train
Yeah.
students now.
Yeah, you're
you
right.
can lecture. Yeah.
And moreover, my MBA experience was, we are privileged to have our, director, he's from Harvard University. And not only that, he brought two people from there, two professors from there to train us on our communication skills.
Oh.
That's one of the important thing which helped us to become a teacher now. So it's really, it was very helpful and self-fulfilling.
Talking about communication, that reminds me, Dr. Richard Chua, you're a lecturer in mass communication.
Yes, I'm a lecturer in the Media and Communication Studies. While Dr. Darwin actually switched from botany to business, I in fact switched from business administration. I have my basic degree in business administration and finance more specifically. Then after that I shift over to the arts in drama.
Wow.
Yeah, so I started off, first part of my career, I was in fact performing, directing, doing a lot of art stuff in that sense, drama, as a practitioner. Then after that I was teaching drama and I got interested in education. So that's why I embarked on my postgraduate degree program with Trinity College London in applied drama in education studies. So at that time I was really into training, how do we evaluate the more so-called non-cognitive kind of assessment, whereby how theatre practitioners, students could be assessed in terms of their performance. That was what I did. Then after that, I was working in Malaysia as an academic. I switched from being a practitioner into an academic. That puts me in a category which is kind of called pracademic.
Pracademic.
Yeah, that means you practice and do academics at the same
Right,
time.
right.
And embarked on my PhD program, also in drama, but also with a specific focus on education. So at that time, I was developing a program. So we see how it goes, how it works through. So my career in that sense kind of started from practice and now into theory and now into education, lifelong learning in that sense. Because I've just also completed an update of the Masters in Media and Communication Studies. So lifelong learning is something that I believe in. So I carry on with that.
Yes.
And hopefully, as we go along with new technologies, we are able to improve ourselves.
Yeah, over here in MDIS, we are true believers in lifelong learning. So we believe in continuously upgrading oneself, going for courses, training, and therefore applying ourselves with the new acquired insights from the various degree programs here or postgraduate degree programs here. So tell us, what are the postgraduate degrees that you manage here or you teach here?
With the School of Business and Social Sciences, I have managed and coordinated the Doctorate of Business Administration program, the DBA. And the DBA is a wonderful program because it gives a lot of industry practitioners have a lot of chance to apply the skills learned on the job because they have been doing the job for the longest time and they've accumulated a lot of knowledge, but these knowledge are not being translated into projects. And with the DBA program, especially with the theoretical framework and guidance, they're able to implement their wonderful solutions and new knowledge in their workplace, in the business case, with a stronger framework in terms of the theoretical perspective and also the marry between theory and practice. And that's the beauty of the DBA program in MDIS. And also, we have also other suites of MBA programs as well, but Dr. Darwin also teaches in them.
Correct.
Right?
Tell us about the postgraduate programs that you teach here.
Yeah, so currently I'm teaching postgraduate programs under University of Sunderland as well as Bangor University. So the modules I teach them is more aligned with the general management, like organizational behavior, human resource management. And one interesting module I always enjoy teaching the students, at the same time I'm sure my students really enjoy, and in fact there's a lot of feedback from my students, really they develop based on this module, professional management and leadership development.
Oh, that's very important.
Yeah, it's more towards identifying their own strengths and weaknesses and how to improve their skills and competencies to become a successful manager and leader in the future. So that was like really a self-fulfilling teaching, I would say, because I really enjoy teaching them, and of course my students really enjoy learning, and in fact they come back to me with a lot of queries like, sir, how I can improve my curriculum vitae, and how to improve my leadership skills, communication skills. And moreover, in the postgraduate programs, we focus on developing the critical thinking skills, which is some
too,
yeah.
thinking.
So instead of just feeding them on the theories and concepts, we try to bring in the industry scene to the class. And all our lecturers, in fact, I was trying to check with all my lecturers, including part-timers and full-time lecturers, all of us have industry experience. So including myself, I have 4 years of industry experience, training as well as marketing experience. So we try to bring in our own life example, as well as we used to constantly update our knowledge based on reading various magazines and the recent trends happening in the industry scenario, and we try to update to our students. And that's really very interesting, and students really learn these concepts practically, like how it can be applied to the industry.
Dr. Darwin, just a question. I mean, when we work professionally for a good number of years, is it a natural course that once you reach a certain point or a certain age maybe, that leadership comes into play,
Yeah.
and leadership development, and also in terms of improving ourselves? So how's your journey like? When exactly is the point where you say, I think there's a need for a postgraduate education?
Yeah, basically my experience was after my undergraduate program, so immediately I started continuing my postgraduate degree.
Which is your MSc.
Yes, MSc, and then I joined, switch over to this master's degree program, because the feeling I had during that time is BSc Botany is not a professional program, so it is a science more like, so I can't get managerial jobs. And the job I'm going to get is like medical representatives. So those are the jobs we used to get those times. So I'm not interested in that. So what I did was I have decided to do my master's program in business administration.
Right.
And but my MPhil, Masters in Philosophy, I have completed in 2007, which is actually due to my teaching profession. So I started realizing I should have something which is related to my teaching. So that I pursued MPhil, Masters in Philosophy, because of that.
That really helped.
Yeah.
What a turning point for you.
Yes, that's a turning point.
for you.
All these turning points actually are determined by our own professional course of events.
Yeah.
Right? For example, when we work and when we reach a certain point and we feel that we need some new input, right?
Yeah.
And new ammunition, so that we are more equipped to be able to meet up with the challenges.
Yes.
So that's why we would take our postgraduate education program. Now, for example, when I was doing my master's, I think it's very important that I need some kind of a guide to set a certain new knowledge in terms of assessment for applied drama. So this is something that I'm looking at, and I feel that I needed more power and advice. So the master's program that I researched on kind of fit into that.
I always
So
find it
the-
very interesting how you assess that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like because when we're doing theatre, it is not a cognitive, although it's a cognitive function in a way, but most of the time you focus on the psychomotor and affective domains, right? If you look at Bloom taxonomy in education, so therefore, how do we go about assessing that? Because if you assess the psychomotor skills, you can actually still see how an actor perform. But it's very difficult when emotions are involved, because when you
Yes.
are working with emotions and you are performing, you cannot possibly say, oh, at a certain point in time when you start to tear, it means that you already have reached a certain kind of benchmark. It's not so easy. So the affective domain has always been kind of understudied, or maybe not as developed as it is. So the assessment, therefore, is quite challenging. Yeah. So when we look at assessment for that, then we will have to exercise a certain kind of judgment. For example, at certain point in time, whether in relation to the text the script.
Yeah.
The script.
And also in relation to the character development. So using that as a support, so you are able to see how actually an actor perform.
Yeah, it really takes years of experience to bring it through.
So this is it, because a lot of drama trainers, when they train, so they know exactly what is the point, where's the point, right? But they know that point based on their own personal experience and their own personal practice. But as a examiner, right, for a drama assessment or examination is very different. So you have to look at it with a different way. So this is an ongoing research which is still happening at the moment in time. But this is one aspect where I feel that we are actually contributing new knowledge, and we are looking at things from a different perspective. And a postgraduate education comes in very handy to actually help us to have that kind of knowledge, so that we are able to tap on in order to work on our work. Yeah, and that also applies to my PhD as well.
Yeah, in order to progress, I can imagine that takes so much reflection on each of you or each of your students. What about you? You find that in a business school as well?
Yes, it's the same here also. Say, for example, this professional management and leadership development module. The very first day, students used to ask me like, how you're going to evaluate this assessment. They're very particular. Yes, how to assess. Because it is more of activity-based learning, and they used to ask me, see, each and every activities they have to make a reflection, and they have to come out with a reflective report, and which is very interesting. Yeah, it's about them, like what they have learned, and what are the skill gap they have identified in them, and how they are going to develop this in their future. Of course, our MBA program will provide the necessary skills, the foundation skills, and they have to still develop certain areas by themselves.
Definitely.
So we will help them to identify, and also we guide them how they can develop those skills.
Yeah, it really takes a good lecturer, an experienced lecturer, to guide them to identify what's the gap and develop the student in that direction. It's really, it takes a lot of experience on both of you.
Reflection is something that is very important also in education. So when I was doing my education management and leadership, right, postgraduate diploma, and we learned that, in the sense that when we go into education, especially when we manage or we do leadership roles, it is important that we should have reflection all the time. And the reflection allows us to evaluate on our existing practice, and also what exactly that we have done, what are the gaps, where are the points that we need to have improvements. Then from there we'll be able to fill them in. Because education is not just a one-directional thing, right? You cannot just possibly be learning, gone are the days where we learn by rote. So therefore, now we are looking at this is how we look at it. And with all these different technological advancements, and there's increasing need for people to work in teams and groups, professional groups, comprising of different technical professionals, and they all come from different fields. So it's not really that, I'm better than you, right? It's really about, I've got the skills that I'm good at because I spend lots of time working on it. And you have also got wonderful skills, and those skills are something that I do not have because I never had the time, or I never spent the time to specialize in it.
Without that exposure.
When people come together, what is key is about communication.
And how to get together to work through a certain problem.
And also the disagreements at work
and
as well.
And how to handle that.
Because we can always disagree, right? We disagree with each other, we agree on certain things, we disagree, even at the end of the day we might be disagreeing and not coming to a point where we find a common ground. But what is important at the end of the day is all the ideas that have been presented on the table. And those ideas are open for another professional who is able to come in to say, hey, maybe I grab certain things and I can create something new out of it.
So we all bring in our specialty, our expertise, our skill sets. So in a master's degree program or a postgraduate degree program, we bring together different skill sets from different lecturers to develop each person's abilities better, or find the gaps and therefore identify it and help the student grow and develop, and therefore perhaps enrich their lives, develop their careers. All this are what is provided in a good postgraduate program, which you will find in MDIS. There are so many degree programs, so many postgraduate programs here, from master's to doctorate levels. So over here we have Dr. Richard Chua, Dr. Darwin. They can give you a lot of advice. If you're ever interested, do write in and do call us and we will help you. I'm from the School of Life Sciences. So at the School of Life Sciences, although we don't have a master's program, but I can share with you my journey in the postgraduate studies. I finished a basic degree in life science in biology, and then I decided that, maybe I should continue learning, and I signed up for a master's in microbiology. I got accepted as a research assistant position in a lab, in a cancer lab. And within a year, because of the development of the project, it went very well. I converted into a direct PhD. So depending on how things develop, some people have a long journey completing their master's degree. For me, it was very fast. I had a lot of data that I could write up, and data was fast to come, and publications were easy to come by. And not that it was easy, but it was filled with technical challenges at first in the lab. But once I overcome the technical challenges, I had a lot of medical data, and I could write it up, and I could publish papers. And then, I was told by my lab supervisor at the time, maybe you should consider doing a PhD. There's enough data now for you to start on a PhD and write it up. So we chance upon different things in life, So for him, he went from a master's in science, convert to a master's in philosophy, and then that got him into a managerial position. And for him, he found that he had the biz ed degree at first, and then he ventured into arts and performance arts, and it was all different factors in life. I'm sure that opportunities present themselves, and if you find that, hey, I'm ready to take it on, I'm going to take on the challenge and enrich yourself, and you can move on to the next level, rise up to the next level. A lot of us, of course, never planned a lot, just work and then just got to the end point. Some of you out there might be already in a work situation, have a fulfilling career, and are thinking, how do I move that one step higher? How do I make myself grow that next level? So postgraduate studies might be what's waiting for you. So look at what are the available courses here in MDIS in terms of postgraduate courses. There might be something that would suit you, and do contact us. We are more than happy to guide you through, to help you develop in your career. And do tell us, what are your students' views so far that you've got? Any interesting students' views that you can share with us?
So I do teach undergraduate programs here, like Teesside University, Sunderland, as well as Bangor University programs. During their last term, normally students will be a bit confused whether to continue their master's program or just find a job first and then take master's programs. And they do ask questions like, does it benefit me? Why should I do a master's program? So I used to ask them a question: what is your strategic ambition? Whom you want to become? I have seen in my experience, people, they started as a clerk or executive, retired as an executive. The reason behind that is they do not have higher qualifications. So they get increments every year. Management is happy with this employee, continue to have employment. 30 years they work as an executive and retire.
Oh, 30
no
years.
Promotion.
That's a long time.
Yeah, there is no career advancement because employee do not have qualifications. So I try to give these sort of examples to make them understand, if they want to progress in their career, someday they want to become a chief executive officer of the organization, they must have a master's program minimum. But nowadays we are talking about DBA. You should have a DBA, doctorate in business administration, in order to become CEO of a company, or COO, chief operating officer, or CFO. If you are aiming at those qualifications, of course, we would encourage students to go for a DBA program.
Because when we talk about postgraduate education, it is definitely a boost to your career, and also in terms of promotion and getting more prospect. And the other aspect of it is actually you are now better trained and you're an expert in your area. Like once you have gotten your Doctorate of Business Administration program, you're already considered a very trained expert in business administration, especially with the case that you're working on in terms of how to solve business problems and also management challenges. So in a postgraduate education journey, it is really about you discovering your potential, and you're able to come out with the things that is uniquely yours. Like, for example, like what Dr. Lisa said earlier, there's so much data that you have collected, because once you are working and you are a professional, you definitely will see lots of data on your table. Now, the thing here is you have to organize all your data, and so that you can produce papers after papers, research
how
after researches,
and how to make use of it.
and to look at specific problems, contextualize them, and categorize them so that you're able to study them individually. So you can just imagine how many master's programs you can complete, right?
Yeah.
So it is really limitless, right, in a sense, because when you go to a postgraduate education program, you only need to do like one project or one dissertation, and one dissertation may be one specific problem, or one part of a bigger, larger problem that you can continue to do research so that you're able to solve a bigger problem. So, as I always say to our postgraduate students, is that you will be able to clear your examination. All you need is to have good contextualization skills and also able to organize your data, and using the theory, then everything will be okay. So there's really nothing scary about undertaking a postgraduate education, because at the end of the day, it is really about hard work. As long as you are on it, and don't be lazy, work hard, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, with the guidance provided, usually the students are able to identify which area, of their interests or their gaps, as mentioned earlier. And there are people with so many years of experience that can guide you through it and then give you good advice to complete your master's or postgraduate studies here. So it all takes is that person to identify, do I want to do it? What area do I want to do it in? And look through what's available and how would it benefit my career development, or how would it benefit their self-fulfillment. So this is one aspect students have to be looking at themselves and move up, because this is an ongoing, lifelong learning process. So you have to reflect upon yourself, think about your future, and how do you want to build a future that you envision for yourself. So we are here to help you. So in this place, we have postgraduate degrees that can help a person grow that next level, go up to that next level. Yeah. So.
But that's the beauty of everything.
Yes. I just recall an recent incident. One of my students from Malaysia, whom I taught 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I taught him a diploma program. And recently he got an offer from Singapore hotel. One of the hotel appointed him as operation manager. He gave a vast experience. He worked in different countries. He asked for an operation director position. So they denied with a single reason that he do not have a postgraduate qualification.
I see.
So he approached me. He approached me with a query, Darwin, where I can do my postgraduate program. So I told him, you come and see me. I will try to guide you on that. So this is a good example. If you want to progress in your career, that is your strategic ambition, definitely you must take a postgraduate program.
That definitely would help.
Yeah.
So this is what we can guide people, people who are interested in reaching the next level, what we can do with a postgraduate education. Just now I mentioned that in life science department, we do not have a master's degree, but with a honors degree, direct honors degree in life science, actually in MDIS, in another school of nursing, we have masters in public health. And this is another feather in the cap. For someone with this master's degree, it opens a lot of career options for that person. Based on what you said, when you did an MSc, you were quite worried. It's like, what are career choices available?
Yeah.
So a lot of students also ask me, I have a direct honors degree in life science. How do I move on to the next level? And I say, do a master's in public health, which is available here in the MDIS. Yeah. So this is how people can move on. What do you feel?
I think it's a very targeted approach.
A very targeted
targeted
approach.
in that sense, because I feel that it is important that we look at ourselves and also to really critically look at ourselves, to reflect and to say, this is something that I'm good at and I'm very confident, and most importantly, very targeted in that sense that where am I going, how is it going to be, then shape yourself through using the postgraduate education to shape yourself and in order to reach that point that you always want to reach professionally.
Yeah. So you have to search and ask yourself, what is it I want? And then we can help you too to identify what courses or which postgraduate program you can consider and move up to the next level. So thank you for sharing, spending time with us this morning. I'd like to thank Dr. Darwin, Dr. Richard,
Thank you, Lisa.
and we would like to hear from you. Come and contact us, okay? Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.